Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial about how to make Five Nights at Freddy's in Gamemaker. This tutorial I'm hoping is going to be a bit shorter than my other ones. I know both of those videos were like an hour long, so I'm going to condense this, make it a little bit shorter. Today, all we're going to do is very simple. We are going to add basically a timer up on the wall, and we are going to fix a bug that I left in last time. So as you can see, we'll add this timer that does tick upwards, and then we're going to fix the enemies entering into the office. So let's get right to it. So basically, if you remember at the end of my last video, I had a slight problem with some code. I gave a kind of like hacked solution, but it wasn't the best solution. Basically, the issue was this. I used the wrong name for a room when I was making it. So let me see. If we go here, so if you go to the create event and underneath all the rooms, there should be this section. There's the left hall and the right hall, with which both have nothing in them. That's all right. But here in this part, U, so there should be a room called U. This room shouldn't actually exist because I already made a room for you that's just called office room, which is basically the exact same thing. So we're going to want to delete U, delete all examples of U. So that means that we have to go back and fix some stuff, and this is pretty common in game dev. So the first thing we should do is we should go to the AI, and we have to make sure that the AI enter the right room when they enter the office. So as you can see right here, we changed out when it's time for Nick to enter the office. Nick.position is equal to the game.office room instead of obj_game.u. And if you want, you can search it up. If you hit Control F on your keyboard, you'll open up this window right here, and you can look up obj_game.u, or however you spelled it, and you can just click over to the next one. I already went forward and replaced them. So here for Jordan, enter office, Jordan.moveAlarm is equal to 0. Jordan.position is equal to obj_game office room. That should all be done. And for Daisy, we're going to scroll down and we're going to see the same thing. Enter office, and Daisy.position is office room. Like I said in the last tutorial, I put U here and that was wrong. So now they'll go into the right room. Alright, let's go back to the game. So we've removed U from our room list, and that's great. That's all we needed. The next thing we're going to add is this is going to be for our timer for later. So I'm going to say time is equal to 0. That's all we need to put for right now. We'll go into that later. And then room connections should all be good. Here in the lose game function, we're going to make sure that the global.currentRoom is equal to our office room, because that's where we're going to see like the end of game cutscene play out. And then that should be everything for this create event. So now in game step, this is also for the timer that we're going to create later. It's very simple. Basically, we're going to say in the timer that time increases 60 times a second. So I just put it under this if statement. You can put it wherever you want, but we want to make sure that the time is increasing so that we can see our timer increase. So that's all you have to put, this time plus equals 1. Then for draw, so we need to change up some things here because of the error that I had earlier. So before, I think I put an if statement or something down here that would draw in the monster. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take all of that and put it in here. So we're going to say, okay, here in office room, we're going to draw all of the all of the enemies. So for var I is equal to 0, I is less than length, so loop through all the enemies. Then we're going to go through each of them, and if Nick is in the office, do Nick's jump scare. If Jordan is in the office, do Jordan's jump scare. If Daisy's in the office, do Daisy's jump scare. And if there's some kind of weird error, post that weird error. All that stuff. 3 brackets, a break, then another bracket. And that should be everything. So you can go ahead and see all of this code right here. And that will do it for fixing the bug from the last game. Now to draw the clock on the wall. So we're going to expand this, and I'll show you how it works. So basically, there's some mathematical stuff going on. Obviously, we can't draw time just as it is, because time is going to be a number like from 1 to 100, or like from 1 to like 6 billion or whatever. It's just going to be a number that goes up. So we have to convert this time variable into something that looks more like a clock. So we have to figure out what the hours are. So to do that, we're going to divide time by 3,600. Well, it's very, very simple. So first, we get time, we're basically saying is in seconds, right? So it increases by 1 second. It's not 1 second exactly, but it's more or less that much. So what we need to do is we need to do hours is the time divided by 3,600, which is the number of seconds in an hour. And then what we do here is we're going to figure out the remainder of seconds in an hour. So like how much is time above an exact hour? And we're going to divide that by 60. And that will give us our number of minutes. Then we're going to set the color, which is C red. Then we're going to set the font. I set up this font called Fshocks. So if we go to fonts here, we can see you can create a new font by right clicking and then hovering over create. There's font here. I believe I found this font online. Fshocks. So the name of this font that I found was M5 by 7. I can't remember if I downloaded this online or if I got it from somewhere else, but you can use any font for this. This is just how I set up to make sure it looks good. So this is M5 by 7. Its style is going to be medium. Its size is going to be 180. And anti-aliasing is off. And so that should be the font. So if we go back to our game. So we set up the font. And then we make sure that the alpha is 1 so that we can see whatever we're drawing. It's not transparent at all. And then basically what we're going to say is we're going to set up a string for Gamemaker to make. So basically we take our hours, whatever the number of our hours is, and we're going to put in this semicolon, and then we're going to put in the string of the minutes. And we're also going to check if minutes is less than 10, then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to add a 0 before the minutes so that it looks like a normal clock should. And then we're going to draw text to the position 1455, 440, and then the clock string that we just set up. So that should be everything that we need to do there. In Draw GUI, we have one more thing that we have to do. So basically, if the player has lost the game, we don't want any of this information to be drawn onto the screen because the player has lost. So what we're going to do is we're going to check if lost is true. And lost is that variable that we're setting to true in the lose game function. And if it is, exit. Now what this does, basically it says that anything below this line of code isn't going to get run. So like if there was code up here, then yeah, this code would run, but anything beneath it would not run. So because of that, we're going to put this at the very, very top of our draw GUI event. And basically, if the player is lost, that stuff won't be shown. And also, so if the player is lost, that stuff won't be shown. One more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the debug drawing. So if we go over here to our AI, and we go to draw GUI, we're going to go to create and set debug to false. And that way this draw GUI event won't occur. So we can run that. And we can see that it all works as intended. So this increases. You can set the number to increase a little bit faster in our step event if you want to test it. And yeah, our game is now fully working. So in our next part, I'm going to go in how to shock and how to send the enemies back to the storage room. And then we'll actually have a proper game running. So thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely evening, Old Sport.